Okay, so I think we stopped here. I don't know if we want to go over it again. You want to? This was the last paragraph that we did. पढ़े एक बार फिर से, so that there is a continuity, है ना?
हाँ, you.
हाँ?
हाँ, आप read करो, read aloud.
अच्छा, मैं अपनी. For all problems of existence are essentially problems of harmony. They arise from the perception of an unsolved discord and the instinct of an undiscovered agreement or unity. To rest content with an unsolved discord is possible for the practical and more animal part of man, but impossible for his fully awakened mind. And usually even his practical parts only escape from the general necessity either by shutting out the problem or by accepting a rough, utilitarian, and unillumined compromise. For essentially, all nature seeks a harmony, life and matter in their own sphere, as much as mind in the arrangement of its perceptions. The greater the apparent disorder of the materials offered, or the apparent disparateness, even to irreconcilable opposition of the elements that have to be utilized, the stronger is the spur, and it drives towards a more subtle and puissant order than can normally be the result of a less difficult endeavor. The accordance of active life with a material of form in which the condition of activity itself seems to be inertia is one problem of opposites that nature has solved and seeks always to solve better with greater complexities, for its perfect solution would be the material immortality of a fully organized mind supporting animal body. The accordance of conscious mind and conscious will with a form and a life in themselves, not overtly self-conscious and capable at best of a mechanical or subconscious will, is another problem of opposites in which she has produced astonishing results and aims always at higher marvels. For there, her ultimate miracle would be an animal consciousness, no longer seeking but possessed of truth and light, with the practical omnipotence which would result from the possession of a direct and perfected knowledge. Not only then is the upward impulse of man towards the accordance of yet higher opposites rational in itself, but it is the only logical completion of a rule and an effort that seem to be a fundamental method of nature and the very sense of her universal strivings.
There are some things, like even in Savitri session, when we reread, it feels as if I had never read them before, when it's like that. So, yeah, and yet the things that we could touch and discuss last time, those stand out.
Yeah. So, बढ़ते हैं आगे. ये वाला है paragraph. It's a longer one. We can do it in pieces. Yeah, see, wherever you want to stop, you feel like stopping, you can stop. Yeah.
We speak of the evolution of life in matter, the evolution of mind in matter. But evolution is a word which merely states the phenomena without explaining it. Yeah. For there seems to be no reason why life should evolve out of material elements or mind, out of living form. Unless we accept the Vedantic solution that life is already involved in matter and mind in life, life is already involved in matter and mind in life, because in essence, matter is a form of veiled life. Life, a form of veiled consciousness. And then there seems to be a little objection to a farther step in the series, and the admission that mental consciousness may itself be only a form and a veil of higher states which are beyond mind. So we speak of the evolution of life in matter, the evolution of mind in matter, but evolution is a word which merely states the phenomena without explaining it. I mean, actually, lot of things, I mean, it's said so nicely that if we can't explain, we just said it happens, right? He just monkey changed into, whatever, and this changed into a caveman and came back. And so we don't even question that, right? He just evolved into one. So I didn't realize that that kind of stops all the questioning there, right? Like the mind is like, okay, evolution, fine. Then I don't need to know how. That's weird. Okay, so we speak of the evolution of life in matter, the evolution of mind in matter. So life और mind को separate लिया हुआ है ना?
वो तो लेते हैं ना, जैसे
हाँ,
mind life means the vitality,
हाँ,
and the
हाँ,
physical है ना, mind life matter. So yeah, just like stone,
हाँ,
first
हाँ,
from the
हाँ,
stone matter comes life,
हम्म,
which is for example,
हम्म,
say sprouting of a plant or
हम्म,
something,
हम्म,
and then the mind, like a human mind or a mind of an
हम्म,
ape or something, that
हम्म,
evolved later, that didn't
हम्म,
come first. Yeah.
हम्म. For there seems to be no reason why life should evolve out of material elements or mind out of living form, unless we accept the Vedantic solution that life is already involved in matter and mind in life, because in essence, matter is a form of veiled life.
Yeah.
Life, a form of veiled consciousness. Yeah. Like, how they say that a tree is in the seed, right? Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
So all that hidden potential which is not seen in a seed. Yeah. And that's where this formula of involution and evolution, this comes again and again, I think with Sri Aurobindo, ki whatever is involved, only that can evolve out. So if there is not already a light of consciousness hiding in the matter, how through evolution it can come out? It must be there, but obscured. Just like we talk of our enlightened nature, Buddha nature, and it is there, but it's obscured by so many layers of ideas, judgments, all these sanskaras, tendencies, that it's veiled. So in essence, everybody is Buddha, but that's what we have to evolve out. And that is why they say that the purpose of human birth is to grow in consciousness. So I don't have to buy more consciousness, I just have to shed more veils of ignorance, so that the light within can shine. The light is already there. And that is what mother also says about the psychic being, how it's evolving through experiences of life.
Evolving through experiences of life. So basically, my personal psychic being is evolving so that it can realize its universality, right? It's, yeah. Okay. And then there seems to be a little objection to a farther step in the series, and the admission that mental consciousness may itself be only a form. Mental consciousness may itself be only a form and a veil of higher states which are beyond mind. Okay, so usually we limit it to the mind, right? The mental thing. So here it's saying that it's the mental consciousness, it's maybe just a veil of higher states which are beyond mind. In that case, the unconquerable impulse of man towards God, light, bliss, freedom, immortality presents itself in its right place in the chain as simply the imperative impulse by which nature is seeking to evolve beyond mind and appears to be as natural, true, and just as the impulse towards life. So just stopping here for a pause.
Yeah. So it's like, just like out of stone, life came, plants came, unicellular, single cellular organisms came, and then it propelled it further into more complex uh, systems or organisms, and then further into mind, है ना? So ये जो एक चाह है आगे बढ़ने की, so this is what unconquerable impulse, है ना? Also of nature. Nature is seeking to evolve beyond mind. So just like it's made a life out of a stone and mind out of life, it also will make something beyond mind. So mind is not the last thing. That's why when we talk about human race now, as it is right now, we think in our arrogance that we are the only ones and after us nothing comes. But I think that is just stupidity, because it has to just go on evolution. So the mental beings that we are, mental consciousness that we are, there is something much higher than the mental consciousness, which is also involved in the mind. It is veiled in the mind. And that's what we refer to as the, what can we say, the source of the mind, that, super mind ki baat karte hain, ya the source from where the mind comes. And this first line also, here, yeah, here, I think I was here, the last line that I shared. And there seems to be a little objection to a farther step in the series, and the admission that mental consciousness may itself be only a form and a veil of, just like a plant was a veil for the mind to come, human mind to come. Human mind is a veil for a superhumanity to come. आप कर लो बात पहले.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you pause? Are we
Just reflecting on these.
okay?
I think basically also for us to know that we should not stop at appearances. What appears to be is not what it truly is. Just like one could not imagine that out of a stone a plant can arise, and out of a plant a dinosaur someday can arise. So just like the present state of mental being we are in, something more higher, loftier can rise.
So should I read the next part?
Mm. So this is the impulse, है ना? ये कह रहे हैं ना? Nature is seeking to evolve beyond mind and appears to be as natural, true as just the impulse towards life, which she has planted in certain forms of matter. So this impulse to go forward is already an inherent part of our being, and that's why we seek for clarity, we seek for more wisdom, we seek. So this seeking is planted. I think that's why Bulle Shah, I think maybe Baba Farid, I don't know who it was, who said that, Bulle Shah maybe, without that seeking, a human being is like a dead body, as if he's not even human. So Viraha, he says Viraha, or this yearning to be a better and better and better version. This is, he claims the Viraha as the king, Virahatu Sultan. If, or without Viraha, he says the body, human form is like a masan, it's like a dead shamshan, like you're not even human without that yearning. And I think in most of us, I don't know how it is for all of us, but for most of us, this yearning really intensifies mostly after facing difficulties, on maybe like setbacks, or although a slow, gradual yearning may be there, but this intensifies after, if you have seen something really tragic, that shocks you from the slumber somehow. It intensifies, yeah, I feel. Okay.
As there, so here, the impulse exists more or less obscurely in her different vessels with an ever ascending series in the power of its will to be. As there, so here, it is gradually evolving and bound fully to evolve the necessary organs and faculties. As there, so here, the impulse exists more or less obscurely in her different vessels with an ever ascending series in the power of its will to be. So again, this will to be is the this will to be is the seeking. I don't know which is it breaking?
आपका वीडियो बार बार जा रहा है बीच में,
मेरे में वो कह रहा है कि कुछ वो है,
आवाज तो बिल्कुल ठीक आ रही है.
So I was saying this will to be would be the seeking, right? Like the seeking that you were just talking about, with an ever ascending series in the power of its will to be. So as here, as there, so here. What did you get from this? As there, so here. What is this there? What is this here?
That's a good question.
So मुझे तो यही समझ आया कि as in जो एक perfection की towards ये जा रहा है, right? Like it's said ना कि it has this ultimate thing. So because that thing has a pull, the impulse exists. That impulse to be that in that perfection, more or less obscurely in her different vessels. Different vessels could be different consciousness, right? Like different people.
I would say different even different living sentient beings, है ना?
Yeah, and plus different parts in the same being also, है ना?
हम्म,
मतलब दोनों में with
हम्म,
an ever ascending series in the power of its will to be.
हम्म,
That will, the
हम्म.
power of its will. As there, so here, it is gradually evolving and bound fully to evolve the necessary organs and faculties.
I think Alokda also shares many a times regarding this complete turning to the divine. And he shares, and Mother also indirectly in her words also shares that until each thought, each feeling, each cell of the body is not turned towards the divine, that is our possibility. So it's not that the thought wants to suffer. It's not that the feelings have a way of suffering, that is their destiny. All of that has to move towards greater and greater light, greater and greater understanding. And Sri Aurobindo also in one of the poems, I think he mentions light to greater light, clarity to greater clarity. So it's like that there is no stoppage. ऐसा नहीं कि मेरा हो गया types. So that's the beauty, that this is ever growing, ever increasing light and clarity and wisdom and knowledge and purity. Yeah.
You know, this sentence in itself shows the limitation of mind, right? Like, how can something be beyond just again somebody is calling me, 1 second. Yeah, pause karna.
I think this is also seen as, this wanting to be more and more perfect in also in human beings. Na? In whatever domain I may be, it doesn't matter what little domain, चाहे मैं झाड़ू लगा रही हूँ, चाहे मैं बर्तन धो रही हूँ. So if this want towards making my work beautiful, making my life beautiful is there, I think it just puts us on a proper path. I think it may take us still a long time, but still this want to be better and better version of ourselves, that yes, I could have done better. So I think in that repentance, a moment of repentance is also good, because if I don't see my higher possibility and I'm okay with my present reaction towards any situation. So Mother also says in prayers and meditations, that whenever I do an act which is not fully consecrated, so first of all she sees that act, that yes, it could have been better. Then she says, I deplore it for a moment, I become sad for a moment, but then I move on, like plunge into the end. So I think this repentance also has its own kind of work to do, a moment of repentance. Yeah.
I'll read further. As the impulse towards mind ranges from the more sensitive reactions of life in the as the impulse towards mind ranges from the more sensitive reactions of life in the metal and the plant up to its full organization in man, so in man himself there is the same ascending series, the preparation, if nothing more, of a higher and divine life. Yeah.
Nice ना, पढ़ने में अच्छा लग रहा है.
Yeah. And again, that work in progress thing, right? It comes up again and again. That. Thank God for that.
And I think that's why, Mother says just about the reason thing, that why is reason existing? Reason is existing like a regulator for the less developed part of the mind, which is the more, the frontal part, emotive being, the vital emotions and reactions. So because if I'm not, because reason is a little higher, so within the same being, there are like as if at various degrees of evolution, things are there. So the same vitality that was a part of animal being, this emotions and feeling. For example, mother says that flowers have a very strong vital character, है ना? तो जो feeling part है, and that's why whenever we want to communicate our feelings, we offer flowers to, है ना, either a friend or maybe the divine being. So this feeling part is more crude because it came first. Stone के बाद पहले क्या आया? Life, है ना? उसके बाद mind develop हुआ. So the feeling part, the emotive part is more crude, and to regulate it, we need reason. We need a little bit of rationality. Otherwise, it can go really haywire in the feeling, just feeling itself. But it doesn't stop there because it also grows further, beyond mind.
The animal is a living laboratory in which nature has, it is said, worked out man. Man himself may well be a thinking and living laboratory in whom and with whose conscious cooperation she wills to work out the Superman, the God. So it's similar, right? Like the whole about the cycle, right? About the evolution. Or shall we not say, should I stop here?
हाँ,
or
ये
you-
वाला जो पार्ट है ना, मतलब जैसे हम कभी कभार ऐसे बोलते हैं ना कि अरे हम इंसान ही तो हैं, है ना? This becomes a excuse for us not to go forward towards, कि हम भगवान थोड़ी ना है. This is what we say, that to defend our reactions and impulses, that this is how I am and this is how I am supposed to be. So not to realize that yes, this is how I am, but this is not how I am supposed to be. I can be different than what I am currently. I think that would require this yearning, that what we were talking the other day, about that bodhisattva goes like a bridge. So you are here, your one leg is here, but you also have a glimpse of that. So you see that this is where I am today, but that's not my, my destiny. My destiny is beyond what I am today. So I think once we stop giving these excuses to ourselves, that really also helps. That फिर उससे लिमिट लग जाती है कि भाई इंसान हो तो मतलब यही करोगे, है ना? लिमिट लग जाती है अपने ऊपर ही, जिसकी कोई जरूरत नहीं है. Yeah.
And the limits that you were talking about, I've seen this, that we then hold on to them, right? Like we hold on to them like they cannot be changed. Like sometimes we also pick up things, even say from Vedantic stuff, not the complete picture, maybe just a line in between, and we say that, oh, this person said this, so that is it. This is what I'm doing. So I limit my own expansions or life. Yeah. Or shall we not say rather to manifest God? For if evolution is the progressive manifestation by nature of that which slept or worked in her, involved, it is also the overt realization of that which she secretly is. I'll read that again. Or shall we not say rather to manifest God? For if evolution is the progressive manifestation by nature of that which slept or worked in her, involved, it is also the overt realization of that which she secretly is.
ये देखो, ये उसी पे हिंट कर रहा है जो आजकल हम सावित्री में पढ़ रहे हैं ना.
Mm.
The two who are one. The two who are one. So Prakriti, nature, it appears blinded in her movements, but she is secretly conscious of her task. And the task is to manifest the Purusha, the ultimate supreme consciousness, in the tendencies and patterns also, to bring the realization there. And Purusha says, yes, okay, do it. I surrender to you. And why? Because he knows the purpose, because through these movements only, by hits and trials, ultimately even the movements will become divine. Purusha is already divine, but Prakriti seems to be mechanical in her manifestation, and very crude also. But if the crude is not given a chance, how would it become refined? ये होता है जैसे वो होते हैं ना लेबर, जैसे इंटर्नशिप करते हैं जो लोग organizations में. So if I am not given a chance, I know that I am not very good at the moment, but I want to learn. And slowly, as you go through the processes of hits and trials, you ultimately are able to manifest the beauty in your work. So the Purusha says, yes, I allow all these hits and trials and tribulations. So that's where, the last line, she says, it is also the overt realization of that which she secretly is. So she is secretly that realization itself, since the two are one, Purusha and Prakriti, they are one, the same consciousness, but it's not obvious. So to make it obvious in manifestation, so that the manifestation itself becomes divine. It's not that I have to find out and dig out where is the divinity in this ugliness, but it becomes divine. So that's what is appearing to me here. Yeah.
We cannot then bid her pause at a given stage of her evolution, nor have we the right to condemn with the religionist as perverse and presumptuous, or with the rationalist as a disease or hallucination, any intention she may evince or effort she may make to go beyond. We cannot then bid her pause at a given stage of her evolution, nor have we the right to condemn with the religionist or perverse and presumptuous, or with the rationalist as a disease or hallucination, any intention she may evince or effort she may make to go beyond.
मतलब हम ये नहीं कह सकते कि बस तेरा हो गया, तू इससे ज्यादा बेटर नहीं हो सकती, है ना, ये नहीं कह सकते बेसिकली, है ना. तो अगर उसमें एक चाह है आगे बढ़ने की, एक yearning है, desire है, we cannot bid her a pause. That's what, here. We cannot then bid her pause at a given stage of her evolution, nor have we the right to condemn with the religionist. Many times religions may say that like insan hi raho, this is what your niyati is, so stay, in your chadar, for example. But to tell that this is not my chadar, it's not my truth, I am born for greater heights, greater and greater heights. So that's what he says here, that we cannot bid a pause as perverse and presumptuous, or with the rationalist as a disease or a hallucination. Many a times, we say that, as you were also mentioning one time, that apni philosophy apne paas rakhe type, that since I cannot change myself and my reactions, things of truth becomes philosophy for me, just because I don't want to change. But the moment I step on that path, I see that it's not that far away as it seems to be. So it may appear as philosophy right now. For example, if I talk about, what mothers talk about, this new human body, superhuman body, which she had a glimpse of, full of transparent luminance. So that may appear like philosophy for me right now, that ये तो possibility नहीं है, होगा, किसी के ideas में. So, but if I step on the path and I begin the work in myself, the cellular work in myself, not only mental, emotional, then I see that why not, this is a possibility. This can happen. This light can grow in this body and it can become immortal. Yeah, maybe after many, many lifetimes, but a possibility definitely. Yeah. I think बच्चों के साथ भी ये काफी वैलिड, जैसे इंसानों के साथ, the last line that he shares, any intention that she may evince, means to indicate, or effort she may make to go beyond. तो बच्चों में भी this, tendencies to pass beyond their thresholds होती है, unless the adult comes and says, अरे क्या कर रहा है, बेवकूफ है क्या, which people do, from time to time. So why not? If a child wants to fly, mother says that don't ever tell a child that you cannot, because they know much better than you and they can. So if they have beautiful ideas and dreams about something which must happen, don't ever pull it down. That's what mother would say. Yeah. क्या pause करूं?
If it be true that spirit is involved in matter and apparent nature is secret God. If it be true that spirit is involved in matter and apparent nature is secret God, then the manifestation of the divine in himself and the realization of God within and without are the highest and most legitimate aim possible to man upon earth. I'll just read that again. I got distracted. If it be true that spirit is involved in matter and apparent nature is secret God, then the manifestation of the divine in himself and the realization of God within and without, are the highest and most legitimate aim possible to man upon earth.
I think the same can also be used which is very difficult, actually, very, very difficult. But I think people can try that. One can try that, where Alokda also mentions many times that to see the divine in people around you, to see that, okay, this is being talked about and it's the divine who is saying this to me. Since we all are uh, divine in essence, it's not that in manifestation yet not, but in essence we all are. So if it be true that spirit is involved in matter is obscure, dark and heavy, and in that free spirit, luminous spirit is hiding, and apparent nature, all the patterns and tendencies of our lives is secret God. All my thoughts and feelings, because they are the manifestation of prakriti, so they are hiding a God which I cannot see right now. Then the manifestation of the divine in himself and the realization of God within and without, so also in the being and around the being. So we cannot leave that, okay, mera to ho gaya, but baki tum bye bye tata types, not a possibility. So if something has happened within, it's not a possibility that I am not able to see that beauty outside. So if divinity has happened within, the divinity is also happening without. And if without is not happening, then I cannot claim that within something has happened, because it's all the same. It's all the same. And that's why, ye jo hum aajkal kar rahe hain, more stress on kindness, compassion, because your eye changes. So it's not that I am an enlightened being and you ugly people stay away from me. So if that is happening, then something weird, really wrong is happening. So realization of God within and without, both, because within and without is just an appearance. I do not end where my body ends, and the other person does not start where his body starts, because the body is a illusion of one sort, are the highest and most legitimate aim possible. So one must strive towards that. Yeah. Anything you want to add on?
I think maybe not fully related, but once you, I think, decide to do something, like say you just talked about compassion and kindness. Like for me, I've seen that suddenly everything goes down. Like if I say I want to practice being more kind, the challenges that suddenly, I don't know, either I become more open to those challenges. Like suddenly I feel that before it gets better, I think I would say almost every time it gets worse. Like, and then it has to, it's like a, okay, there's no other way, right? Like, but first it's like the unkindness increases
I
till
think
it's, yeah.
I think it's not that it would increase, but it's just I become more sensitive to moments of unkindness now, because there is an intention of being kind. Earlier I was
Mm,
not sensitive to all these movements of unkindness.
mm,
तो अब होता क्या है
mm,
कि because now I want to be kind, I
mm,
notice more movements happening in the day where I am, oh, here there was a possibility, oh, here there was a
mm,
possibility. So unkindness is seen now more because I want to work upon it. So totally
yeah.
resonate with what you shared, that before it gets better, it actually gets worse. And Tenzing Palmo also shares that who said that meditation is sweet and peaceful? Because the moment you sit for meditation, you realize that so much of havoc, is happening in the mind. Yeah, so absolutely agree, resonate with what you were sharing. Please continue.
So I'll read ahead.
Yeah, if you don't have anything to share more, I thought you were sharing further more. Then
Yeah, I'll read ahead. Thus, the eternal paradox and eternal truth of a divine life in an animal body, an immortal aspiration or reality inhabiting a mortal tenement, a single and universal consciousness representing itself in limited minds and divided egos, a transcendent, indefinable, timeless, and spaceless being who alone renders time and space and cosmos possible, and in all these, the higher truth realizable by the lower term. Has to be read again. Thus, the eternal paradox and eternal truth of divine life in an animal body, an immortal aspiration or reality inhabiting a mortal tenement, a single and universal consciousness representing itself in limited minds and divided egos, a transcendent, indefinable, timeless, and spaceless being who alone renders time and space and cosmos possible. I think, that is why when you are into that zone of kind of feeling a bit frustrated or, unfree, a lot of time it's like you are, what is wrong with you? Like everything, anything you want to do, you can, right? Like, and especially if you look at, say, others around you who are more restricted or, might be just working 9 to 5 every day, just for making ends meet. It feels that it's wrong. And yet, looking at the possibility of what the true nature is, this kind of makes more, that I know what I can be and what I am and what I am not, and hence the poking is very painful, right? Like this is not it, this nahi matlab na you're better than this, yeah.
मुझे लगता है पता है इसके साथ साथ पता नहीं क्या होता है हमें as adults, somehow what happens with us is that many of us, most of us, become so not all right with and receptive with taking like positive criticism, in the sense that it will, especially if it is coming from a person who you can trust, even there our egos come in between. So I feel a little sadness here, because if a criticism, a healthy one, that okay, this can be better, okay, this is where you are, a friend is saying this can be better, even that I cannot take nicely. Why? Why? Because why am I here for? A person was doing a transcript, and I was just sharing, मैंने उससे share किया, not about you, some other person. I was sharing,
clarifying that.
yeah, it was not you. So some other person who I was sharing with, that this could be better, and immediately I could see, although I did work on it further, I could see that as if she became a little, like, I'm not good enough, I'm not good enough, so I'm not feeling confident, shall I continue? So then I had to really kind of, as if she was almost in pieces, and I had to gather her up again. And I said that, you're already very good, and don't give it up, and it's only a matter of practice that you become more confident. So I will be pointing, because if I do not point, how will we progress? I will make it better. So it was very startling for me to see that how can I work with people if people are not ready to, if we, including myself, if we are not ready to take healthy criticism, especially coming from a friend who is a friend. It's not that he wants something bad for you. So yeah, this poking that you were sharing, that's where I got reminded of this, that to poke myself to be a better and better version of myself. I think if we can be okay with that poking, it can take us far. Yeah.
And I think maybe that is also the reason why the suffering hurts so much. Like, I don't know, matlab, as it is, nature ही hurt करने का है, but as in like this feeling that something is wrong, something is not, like in the beginning, right? Like what we just read when we started from the last time, that lack of harmony. How like mechanically you're holding things up, and it takes a lot of stress, right? It takes a lot of effort, and something in something inside says that this is not it, right? Like इससे नहीं हो रहा है, इससे नहीं हो रहा है.
I think that's again indicating कि something in me knows a higher possibility. तभी मेरे को इतनी unease हो रही है इससे. Yeah. And that's what he was sharing now, that a time pass harmony is okay for an animal being, but not for the fully awakened human. We cannot get settled in this utilitarian harmony. Yeah.
And in all these, the higher truth realizable by the lower term justify themselves to the deliberate reason as well as to the persistent instinct or intuition of mankind. So, in all these, the higher truths realizable by the lower term justify themselves to the deliberate reason as well as to the persistent instinct or intuition of mankind. Yeah. So I think this we have kind of already covered, right? That's something.
हाँ, ये first part एक बार फिर से ले लेते हैं, क्योंकि इसमें something really very nice. So whenever we talk about truth, we talk about a paradox, because that's why we say na divine cannot be grasped. So the paradox is very necessary, because if I make a clear demarcation, black or white, then I will grasp at it. But if I say अरे है भी और नहीं भी, अब मैं फंस गई. अब मैं कैसे कहूंगी कि मैंने जाना? क्योंकि अगर है तो भी गलत है, अगर नहीं तो भी गलत है. उसके बीच में कहीं, कबीर, in one of the Kabir's couplets coming from Pakistan, the folk area, वहां से I remember that है और नहीं के बीच में है भी नहीं बोल सकते, क्योंकि है तो दिखाओ कहाँ पे है, पकड़ थोड़ी ना सकते हो. और नहीं बोला तो अरे झूठ हो गया. So this paradox, that's what he's saying here. Thus the eternal paradox, an eternal truth of a divine life in an animal body. अब ये कैसे बोल सकते हो कि animal body में divine life? ये तो झूठ है. So ये paradox है कि animal body में divine life. Yeah. And अगर दूसरा paradox दे रहे हैं, an immortal aspiration or a reality inhabiting a mortal tenement. Huh? So immortality caged in a mortality. How is that possible? Why would that be allowed at all? Again, a paradox. Then he's saying a single and universal consciousness. सिर्फ एक ही है जो है. एक absolute consciousness, only one. And that's why we say there are not, several consciousnesses. it's only one Atman in whom we are. It's like a, imagine a humongous being that never ends. And all of us are bits and pieces inside that humongous being. A single and universal consciousness representing itself in limited minds and divided egos. Another paradox. कि जो है वो कैसे अपीयर हो रहा है कि ये अलग, वो अलग, ये छोटा, वो बड़ा, ये कैसे, तभी इसको ऐसे बोलते हैं कि मतलब क्या हो तुम, कि उसकी बात ही नहीं करी जा सकती. A single and universal representing itself, consciousness representing itself in limited minds and divided egos. Then he says, further paradox, a transcendent, one who is beyond, a transcendent, indefinable, timeless, and spaceless being, who alone renders time and space and cosmos. So because he is timeless, he can make time possible. Because he is spaceless, he can manifest space. Because he is beyond everything, he can manifest the creation. So this is how he puts together, when he talks about the paradox of truth. So I found this really very interesting, this part. तो जो lower लग रहा है, in all these, the higher truth realizable by the lower term. It's a possibility. It's a possibility. It's not that the lower is bound to be lower. हमेशा lower ही रहेगा. And in all these, the higher truth realizable by the lower term justify themselves to the deliberate reason as well as to the persistent instinct and intuition of the mankind, or intuition. Yeah. Nothing more comes here. I think that's why you see, even in little objects like a cup, or, it may be this wire, so much of perfection is possible that looks very limited, not much to it. But then we can go on and on and on and on, improvising it further, making refiner. And same with our own selves. Like if this can be done with material objects, it is impossible that I cannot become a better version of me again and again and again. So, yeah.
Attempts are sometimes made to have done finally with questionings which have so often been declared insoluble by logical thought, and to persuade men to limit their mental activities to the practical and immediate problems of their material existence in the universe. Attempts are sometimes made to have done finally with questionings which have so often been declared insoluble by logical thought, and to persuade men to limit their mental activities to the practical and immediate problems of their material existence in the universe. But such evasions are never permanent in their effect.
मतलब ये बोल दो कि अरे तू तो परांठे पे ही ध्यान दे दे यार, ये प्रॉब्लम तो आज तक कोई सॉल्व कर नहीं पाया, तो हम क्यों कोशिश करें. So here, in the first half he says, attempts are sometimes made to have done finally with questionings, but which have been declared insoluble. कि भैया बस, इसके आगे ज्यादा दिमाग मत लगाओ. Insoluble by logical thought, and to persuade men, this is what happens with our human lives, to persuade men to limit their mental activities to practical and immediate problems of material existence. कि भैया दूध की थैली ले आओ, ब्रेड का पैकेट ले आओ, बटर ले आओ, बस इतना बहुत है. This is what we are supposed to do. But he says such evasions are never permanent in their effect, because of that impulse that you were sharing, that thank God it's there.
Yeah. And I think just a side note, like for me, the more resistance I have received, the more this I have received that this is enough, इससे बाहर जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. The more it has propelled me to go beyond. It's like how everything has a place. Like I could be like, kind of screaming from inside and doing it. And yet that made me do it. That made me say that no, this is not me, I am more. And I wonder in the absence of the resistance, if I would have, done that. So
Yeah, bilkul, bilkul. So as you said, everything has its proper place. Just like we do gymming also, that the more weight there is in front of me, the more challenge there is in front of me, the more muscles I grow. So just like that. Yeah. The harder the wall, the more pressure I am able to find within myself to push it or to make my way through. Yeah, beautiful.
mankind returns from them with a more vehement impulse of inquiry or a more violent hunger for an immediate solution. Yeah, that's exactly. And I think that's why, the presence of, like, again, I think we have said it so many times, but the presence of pain or suffering, it's irreplaceable, like, especially the way we are, like, right now. Maybe it's not there in the future. But without that, that, I don't know, that comfort in the schedule and patterns of life, unless that is disturbed, unless there is pain, I think the whole life can spend in that inertness. That chal to raha hai na, like fine, like it's not giving me any bliss, but at least it's not causing me pain. But when the pain comes, then I'm like, oh no, 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 not working, right? And then I
Yes.
criticize the same pain. Sorry, yeah, done
No,
yesterday.
please, please. I thought you were done. Please go ahead.
I'm done.
Okay. मैं कल किसी फ्रेंड से शेयर कर रही थी कि we were talking about, I think, meditation, or maybe focusing within. And I told her that somehow I feel that I am able to more intensely meditate, or like मेरा ध्यान ज्यादा concentrate तब हो जाता है when I have some pain in life. So what you were sharing, just an example of that, that when I am undergoing a challenge or a crisis in my life, then somehow with me, I was sharing my personal example, that somehow I felt कि मेरा जो ध्यान है, like there is something in me which wants to find a greater resolution. So there I don't sleep while meditating. They were talking about sleeping, कि जैसे ही ध्यान लगाते हैं नींद आ जाती है. तो मैं उसी की बात कर रही थी कि मेरे को, मैंने देखा है कि तब तब नींद नहीं आती. अगर टू कंफर्टेबल लाइफ है तो नींद आने लग जाती है, ट्रू. बट इफ सम इंटेंसिटी ऑफ एफर्ट इज देयर, then the need cannot be there. So the way, just adding on to the importance of the intensity of pain or suffering. Yeah.
By that hunger, mysticism profits and new religions arise to replace the old that have been destroyed or stripped of significance by a skepticism which itself could not satisfy, because although its business was inquiry, it was unwilling sufficiently to inquire. I read that again. By that hunger, mysticism profits and new religions arise to replace the old that have been destroyed or stripped of significance by a skepticism which itself could not satisfy, because although its business was inquiry, it was unwilling sufficiently to inquire. Yeah. Like, when they become statements, right? This is it, right? Like, so then they itself starts to die down because it doesn't stick. And yet they stick long enough, right? Like, I think I shared with you now that in Christianity, like I had a friend, like a boss actually, who was a devout Christian, and he said, in my religion, it's a sin to even debate or read or talk to anybody questioning the religion. Like if a book has a line which might say that, Christianity is not only it, it's formidable, forbidden, sorry for me, to read that book. How we have to protect, and yet we cannot see that, right? If something needs so much protection, how can it be the truth, right? Like when it's not omnipresent. But yeah, it's just steps, right? Like at least he's believing in something so concentratingly, and yeah.
And also that, initially ho sakta hai the vision, when the thing started, the vision may be really beautiful, but I think slowly it develops into something, the same thing that we cling to now, that religion, कि now this is my sense of self. तो इसलिए इसका कुछ नहीं बिगड़ना चाहिए, है ना, एज यू वर सेइंग कि प्रोटेक्ट करके रखने की जरूरत है, अब इसका कुछ नहीं बिगड़ सकता, तो क्वेश्चन भी अलाउड नहीं है, क्योंकि अगर क्वेश्चन अलाउ किया तो कुछ गलती से अगर कुछ बिगड़ गया तो मेरी सेंस ऑफ सेल्फ पे चोट आ जाएगी. So I think everything with everything, and that's why I really appreciate when I read about Meher Baba, for example, when he would just, some building work started, okay, going on. After 5 days, he says, abandon the project. And the people have to be fine with that. Because it may happen that I begin to develop a sense of identity with that building, that, hore, ashram aayega, ye hoga, wo hoga. We have this sticky character somehow as human beings. So to leave that stickiness, no matter on this path, I will share something with you which I heard on groundlessness. To be okay with groundlessness, to be okay in not holding on to anything. I'm sure we'll resonate with that, because that's what truth would be about, that you are so okay with everything that you do not need to hold on to anything to give you a sense of self. So being okay with the groundlessness. तभी हमको झटका लगता है ना, अगर if I lose a loved one in my life, because I lose a ground in my life, and I'm not okay with that, so I grieve, I suffer. I'm not okay without a ground. So can I be okay without a ground? So yeah, this was coming to me when, and definitely, as you said, these are just steps forward to something more beautiful and more intense. Yeah.
And what you had shared in the beginning, right? Like it's from one to the other, and then to the next, then to the next, then to the next. So in itself, it says that nothing would ever stick, right? Like here it feels that, okay, this religion probably wasn't okay, and that's why it had to go. But keeping that definition in mind, that perfection has no end. So nothing would last forever except truth, right?
I think even talking about this also makes you feel so liberated, that, go on and on and on, and no need to cling to anything.
There was this story that, there was this saint. So when he used to meditate, there was a cat in his ashram, not his, but outside. You must have heard of it, right? That he was a very jumpy cat. So, he used to kind of disturb people. So the guru started saying that, okay, before meditation, just tie the cat. And then he used to be released. So that's how it was. And then the guru passed on. And again, the practice was continued, but then the cat passed on. So the disciples went and looked for another cat, that before meditation, a cat has to be tied to the pole. That's how we become with our practices. We don't even see why they were there in the first place. And it just becomes like, a kind of लकीर का फकीर जिसे बोलते हैं कि okay, my guru said the cat has to be tied because it was creating a havoc, but now a cat has been bought so that the pool is not empty, because that must be pulling some, energy from above. So I think just that case
रुक गया था 2 मिनट के लिए, I think, froze. But after you finished, thankfully. Yeah. Yeah. This story has also been, given in a different form. एक बच्चों की book है. Maybe you have heard of it. For the Love of a Cat. सुनिए ये वाली book, कथा की है शायद. So here they say that there is a painter who is asked to paint the painting of a Buddha, like a big wall painting. And around Buddha, all the creatures need to be present, all the living creatures. Now this painter has a cat. And the priests command him that only cat cannot be put on the picture. So I think it may be taken from this one that you shared. So he says that, okay, and the cat becomes really like mayus and sad. And then the cat slowly dies because of this sadness that I cannot be close to Buddha. So what he says in memory of the cat, he paints a cat like a very small dot. But one priest, after the finishing of the picture, he sees this cat and he says, no, this cannot be because he has, defaulted and whatever. So they say, okay, we will bring the picture from the wall and we will burn it and we will, make this guy feel what he has done. But the moment they are going to bring the picture, that little cat that he had painted as a dot, it appears actually in the lap of the Buddha. So saying that the Buddha accepted the cat also. So very interesting. Yeah. So we stop here for today.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.